Hey y'all, so before I get this video started, let me give a quick shout out. These were the first 3 comments in my last video. If you want to be featured in my next video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell and come show me some love when I drop a new video. Dear Millennials, let's chat. What's up, you guys? It's Keamber Vaughn, aka CoachKe, coming back to you with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you are notified of every new video that I post. So as you guys can tell by the title of this video, I'm actually going to be talking about a pretty serious subject, but I didn't really want it to be like a sit down serious type of video. I wanted it to still be kind of light and fun, just because, you know what? Sometimes serious videos just are a little too serious. So I'm actually going to be talking about this particular subject while I am trying out new makeup. So sorry if you're a guy or you're a girl that's not into makeup. It's okay. The subject is still going to be important. So just to show y'all what I'm using real quick, I'm trying out this NYX Born to Glow, and this is in the color Warm Mahogany. It's a $10 foundation. And this is like one of the first drugstore foundations that I've been able to find my color in. And I'm actually trying to find, where's my regular foundation? Where the hell did I put it? Oh, right here. So the foundation I usually use is Dior Backstage. This is a $40 foundation. And I'll just show y'all the difference in the color of the two. And then we're going to get into the video. The Dior is still like my perfect shade, but it's more like my summer shade, and I am getting pale. Okay, I'm losing color. I wasn't really outside a lot this summer either, so I like to stay home. I'm a hermit. So they're both like really warm colors, as you guys can see. That's the Dior and this is the NYX Born to Glow. So I just tried a little bit on in the store and it like melted right into my skin. You couldn't even tell I had it on. So I think this is my shade, but we just gonna see. I ain't got nothing special to do. I might go grocery shopping. I do have to record the November week 2 weekly budget, and that's about it. So let me get into this article real quick, and then we just gonna have a conversation, sis, okay? And bro, oh yeah, other new thing is the NYX Shine Killer Primer. I've never used this before. This was like $14. If I found my shade in a $10 foundation, listen, most $40 foundations, like $30 to $40 foundations ain't even got my shade. I think it's because like I have such a warm tint to me. But anyway, so I'm going to link the actual article down in the description box. No worries. So the title says, to retire at 65, millennials will need to save nearly half of their paychecks. Listen. Now, I'm not going to read the entire article because we grown. If you want to read the whole thing, go ahead, click the link in the description box and go read it. But I am going to read you guys the little parts that I have highlighted, and then we just going to have a discussion, okay? So it says, if you think the standard recommendation of putting 15% of your paycheck toward retirement is impossible to achieve, get ready for an even bigger hurdle. At least one retirement expert thinks that number should be much higher. Millennials should aim to set aside nearly half of their income for the future, according to Olivia S. Mitchell, professor of insurance/risk management and business economics and public policy, and executive director of Wharton's Pension Research Council at the University of Pennsylvania. You got a lot of titles, lady. If you want to live off even half of your final salary in retirement, you need to save 40% of your income over the next 30 years, she says. Now, this is the thing. If this is what you're telling millennials, think about the generation that's after millennials. It's even worse, right? Like, you just have to think about things. Things progress. So it says the biggest is that you want to retire at 65. That's not much of a stretch. However, 43% of millennials say they actually expect to retire earlier. How? Let's see. The second major assumption is that investment returns over the next few decades aren't going to match the roughly 10% historical returns Americans have enjoyed previously. This is a big part of this that I really want to talk about, because you guys know that one of the biggest names in the budgeting finance community always tells you to put so much into your 401k or 403b because, you know, 10 to 12%. And when you, That's neither here nor there. Most people are not told by financial advisors that their future returns will likely be much lower than in the past, and their future taxes will likely be much higher. Mitchell tells CNBC, make it. Let's see, what else did I have? In general, Americans, especially millennials, will need to work longer and claim SSI later, Social Security. Benefits from SSI are 76% higher if you claim at age 70 versus 62, which can substitute for a lot of extra savings. If you are able, don't retire. If you can keep working, do so. If you can't work full-time, work part-time. Every little bit helps. What is the average... Shoot, I don't even have my phone in here, but I can't remember what the average lifespan is in America, but I'm almost certain it's like 78 or 80, maybe 82 at the oldest. Like, you want me to basically work till I die, because by the time I retire at 70, you know, where am I going? How am I supposed to enjoy my life? Everything is probably broken down by then, right? People should continue investing in their skills well beyond 45 or 50, meaning continue to go to school, and not necessarily like a traditional school, but you have to continue to like advance your skills by taking classes and different things like that, getting more certifications until you're 50. Oh, sorry if y'all hear stuff in the background. My niece and nephew are here, as well as my aunt. My aunt's very loud. Anyway. Beyond simply planning to work longer, Mitchell says more Americans may need to consider purchasing an annuity as they get older. Let's see, a couple more points, then we're going to get into the talking points. The economists, girl, what are you reading? The economists at investing giant Vanguard predict that over the next 10 years, annual U.S. stock market returns, which most of your 401ks and 403bs are in, you better check them, trust me. What did I say? Annual U.S. stock market returns will likely average 3 to 5%. When you factor in inflation, which luckily Vanguard predicts will be below 2%, the real rate of return is expected to be under 3%. Morningstar Investment Management predicts an even more meager return at 1.8% over the next 10 years for U.S. stocks before adjusting for inflation. Meanwhile, perhaps the most pessimistic outlook comes from Boston-based asset management firm GMO, which expects real returns of negative 3.6% for U.S. large cap stocks and negative 1% for small cap stocks. It's also worth noting that 40% retirement savings rate calculation does not take into account Social Security's looming shortfall. If Congress does nothing, the agency's Social Security funds will only be able to pay out about 80% by 2035. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but they're expecting for Social Security to run out really by, I thought it was 2035, maybe it's like 2040 or something, but the article goes on to talk about how they think that different regulations and stuff will cause the government to save Social Security, basically just pump more money into it. At the end of the day, Social Security just doesn't work. So let's talk about this. First of all, let's talk about the whole ordeal. Where did I put my freaking Let's talk about the whole ordeal with the returns, right? So I've mentioned this that's way too much. Look at this. Way too much. I want something for like an everyday look, even though I don't wear makeup every day. But anyway, let's talk about the investment part, right? Because as some of you guys may or may not know, I post weekly vlogs from day trading. I've been day trading off and on for 5 years, okay? I have not traded the whole 5 years, so there's still things that I'm trying to discover while creating my own strategy, right? But this is the thing. I remember one week I had a losing week, and I think I only lost like maybe 5% of my account. And I remember that this guy came and was like, oh, you need to invest in like more long-term, like Warren Buffett. And, you know, because day trading is too risky and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell y'all something. Any kind of investing is risky. I don't care if you invest in real estate. Girl, this is my shade. Sorry, I just got distracted. Y'all don't understand. When you have a certain amount of melanin in your skin, You can't find foundations that match you. And this is a pretty good match when I'm pale. But anyway, so yeah, I remember the guy telling me that I need to invest in less riskier things. To me, day trading in the market is not that risky, especially in futures. This is just my personal opinion. Now, when you're investing in like Forex and stuff, that could be a lot more risky, especially because a lot of people, and they're not going to tell you this, a lot of people do not have Forex accounts in U.S. brokers, meaning their money is overseas, and because the U.S. is so regulated when it comes to Forex that your leverage, meaning the amount of money that you can use to trade at a time, is much less than if you go overseas. Overseas, honey, they let you do practically whatever. But that's really risky because if the company goes under or anything like that, guess what? Your money is gone. There's literally nothing you could do about it because you wasn't supposed to be trading overseas anyway. But it's just like, I don't understand why you would make that comment on that video, but on the videos where, like, you know, I grew my account 15%. So if I lost 5% in 1 week, but I grew 15% the next week, didn't that cancel out that 5% that I lost? And let's talk about the fact that there are people who had $100,000, let's say, in their retirement accounts before the market crashed in 2008. And they were down to like low 5 figures. And I know a trader personally who knows someone else personally whose account went from $100,000 to like $1,000 something after the crash in 2008. Is that not risky? So it's just like the stock market to me, which is what most people's 401ks and 403bs are invested in, it's just as risky as anything else. So for me, it's like, why wouldn't I take things into my own hands? Like, if I lose my own money, I feel a lot better than if my money has been sitting in some account where some broker who I don't know what his skills are, I don't know what his knowledge is, I don't know how much training he has, and he might have so many accounts that he forgets about my account. So as the market's dropping, he forgets to move my money somewhere, and guess what, as the market's dropping and my account is losing value, he's still making sure that he gets his broker fees, right? Y'all, this foundation is literally perfect, literally. So let's get into some of this other stuff. First of all, saving nearly half of your paychecks. Most millennials are struggling. Now, let me tell you guys something. Part of the struggle with millennials, I feel, is that not only do most of them not want to work anyway, but most of them have not gained the education or the skills necessary to continue to move up. There are some people who I've known since childhood who are still posting on Facebook about, hey, let me know who hiring nothing less than, let's say, $15 an hour. And let me tell you something. First of all, if you're new to my channel, I'm not a pompous asshole, okay? But I'm a realist, okay? At the end of the day, an adult making $15 an hour, $12 an hour, whatever, like, you're meant to struggle. You're not meant to make it. Like, first of all, this country is based on capitalism, okay? And the only way for the country to survive is if they have people who are not knowledgeable, who they can capitalize on. I see a lot of people who complain about the minimum wage and, oh, you can't live on a minimum wage. Of course you're not. It's minimum wage for a reason. To me, minimum wage jobs were not meant for adults who have families and stuff to be able to survive on. It was meant for college kids and the elderly people who retire who might just want something extra or need a little bit of extra money. It wasn't made for you who have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, right? And I feel like with millennials, we tend to settle on these jobs because we know we can get them. Let me tell you something. $15 an hour wasn't enough for me when I was a freshman in college. So at almost 30 years old, it's definitely not enough. But if you can't make it on $15 an hour after taxes, how do you expect to live off of less than half of your income? Because most of the time when you retire, you're not going to have anywhere close to your income. Let me tell y'all what happened to me and why I withdrew from my 403b. So there's a book by Robert Kiyosaki called Increase Your Financial IQ. You can typically find the PDF version of it for free online. typically on his website actually. And so he was talking about, and if I can find the excerpt, I'll enter it right here on the screen. But he was basically talking about how it's literally statistically impossible for just the baby boomers generation. Now, baby boomers are retiring at 10,000 baby boomers per day, if I'm not mistaken. That's what was in his book. And he's one of those people, he does all the research. But he said it's statistically impossible for these 10,000 baby boomers to each withdraw, I think it was like $1,000 a month for Social Security and $1,000 a month out of the market, because that's where their 401ks are. There's not enough money in the market for them to be able to do that, for everybody to withdraw their money on a monthly basis. So how the heck millennials gonna do it? How the heck is like the generations after us gonna do it? Like it doesn't make sense. He also talked about why pensions started to go away. You know, my grandparents, baby, they had to listen, their retirements was off the chain. Of course they were able to survive off of that. They were about the last generation that was able to really benefit off of pensions. Why? Because jobs started to realize, well, no, wait a minute. Sure, they gave me 30 years of labor, but they still living 10 years later and I'm still paying them a good pension, but they're not producing my company any revenue because they've been gone. Why would I do that? That's why you have so many companies that start to lay off. My mother, she worked for IBM for, I think, 20 years or something. And when they started to lay people off, I kept telling her, Mama, you're not immune, baby. And she just kept moving. Listen, once they kept teaching her new stuff and putting like she was doing like 5 people's jobs, right? I said, Mama, they gonna make you train somebody, a new person, and they gonna get you up out of there. And what did they do? They did that. So she's been doing temp agency. She gets paid more. And I've been telling her that. When I graduated from college, I said, Mom, there's no way I make as much as you or almost as much as you, and you have a master's degree. They're underpaying you. You need to go somewhere else. She didn't go nowhere else until she was laid off. But it's like, we don't have that pension thing. Now, I do work a state job. I am agency though, so I don't get to reap the state benefits or anything like that. But even when some of them talk about their retirement, when they really start looking at the numbers after I tell them to really look at the numbers, it ain't worth it. My 403B, after a year of me working as a nurse, told me that if I continue to contribute 6% of my checks, every single paycheck, for the next, mine said 40 years, for the next 40 years. And mind you, my company at the time was doing I believe that I was doing 6% and they were doing 6% as well. Do y'all know that thing said that after 40 years, I will retire with a $6,000 a month income? Who? Let me tell you something. This was my thing. If I'm making $3,000 a month gross as a brand new grad, and you mean to tell me after 40 years my income is only gonna double at retirement? Baby, I'm out of here. I can't devote 40 years of my life for that. And the crazy thing was, after a year of being, actually not even a year of being a nurse, like I became a nurse in April. By that next February, I had started in the network marketing industry. That's where a lot of people know me from. Not a lot of people on this platform, but on different social media platforms, mainly Facebook. So I started a business in February. By July, I was making $2,500 a month. By August, I was making $5,000 a month. And by that next February, so after a year, I was making $8,000 a month. Now, by that July, when I was making $2,500 a month, I walked away from my job for 3 years. I walked away from nursing because I felt like if I'm making as much as what I make as a nurse after taxes, what's the point? $2,500 a month before taxes, because of course, when you have a business, your taxes are taxed a lot different. So $2,500 a month, $2,500 a month before taxes versus about $2,400 a month after taxes in nursing. I might as well walk away and devote that time to my business. And what do you know? The very next month, my income doubled and it went up again about 6 months later. When I had that experience, now I'm not in network marketing anymore, but when I had that experience, that let me know that corporate America was not for me. It just wasn't for me, because how can I do that after a year, but I got to work 40 years to get that in nursing? Listen, I'm a numbers person. That wasn't working for me. So at that point, I really started to hone in on business. And although I walked away from those income sources because I feel like network marketing doesn't work well with my personality. I love helping people. I love talking to you guys on the internet. But having a certain level of one-on-one with people all the time is too much. I'm too energy sensitive, and it doesn't work for me. At one point, I had over 1,200 people in my organization, and most of them had my phone number, honey. I was going crazy. Y'all, I love this makeup. I'm sorry, I love it. But anyway, that was my lesson, to know that I can do something greater. And so in this new year, I have a new business. I got the LLC for it and everything. Of course, it has to do with finances. For me, you guys, I just want to help people. Not only do I want to help you guys with budgeting, eventually, as I perfect my trading, probably next spring, I'll have a trading course, because I want to teach you guys what we don't learn in school, so that this doesn't end up being any of our realities. Who the hell wants to retire at 70 so you can get the max Social Security benefits, but we don't even know if Social Security is going to get the reform it needs for us to be able to collect it all? If you can't live on your full paycheck, how the hell are you supposed to save half of it? Hello. Now, when you get to a certain point, now, of course, I'm able to save half of my paychecks right now, but I also live with my parents because I'm not wasting money on rent. Everybody doesn't have that ability. So how is this supposed to be for most people? Are we literally going to have to work until we die? Like, who gonna do that? One thing about millennials that I love, like I literally love about this generation, you guys, is that we don't settle. Like, we might settle for some traditional jobs, but most of us have something going on outside of that, or we have dreams and aspirations. We might still be stuck in that phase of, having fear and doubts and stuff. So we might not be moving forward on it. But let me tell you something. A millennial will try to figure out how to hustle and make money on the side before they settle for working 60 hours a week at a job. And I love it, because y'all, numbers don't lie. Now, of course, these are just estimations and guesstimations, just like the weatherman guessed what the weather is, So it could not go this way, but guess what? It could actually go this way. And then what? We have to really prepare. That's why I am such a stickler for people learning how to manage their money. If you learn how to manage your money right now, learn how to save right now, learn how to get out of debt right now, let me tell you something. In a couple years, ain't nobody going to be able to stop you. When you have extra money that you can use, whether it's to invest in real estate, you want to invest in futures trading or Forex trading or whatever, into businesses, whatever, do it. Because if you don't, your reality is not going to be what your grandparents' reality was. I have one living grandparent right now. My dad's mom passed away when I was 10. She was 75 years old. His father passed away when I was 19. He was 83, if I'm not mistaken. And then my mom's parents, they were like a generation. It was really weird. My parents are only 3.5 years apart, but their parents were a total generation apart. So my mom's grandparents were the same age as my dad's parents. Yes. That's how it worked. So my mom's father passed away 4.5 years ago, and my mother's mom is still living, and she is 71. Yeah, she's 71. My grandmother retired when she was 55. And let me tell you something. Her retirement has been great, okay? She travels, she goes on little bus trips, and she retired at a point, and my grandfather, my mom's father, also retired early. And they retired at ages where they got the pensions. They got money from their retirement accounts. They had real estate investments. My grandpa was like really big on investing. So he had like stocks and stuff like Facebook and stuff. Okay. And I ain't talking about a couple shares, just saying. He was like a stock person. He loved little penny stocks and stuff. But we don't have that same ability. My own parents don't have that same ability. Now my dad, after he stopped working as a manager for Thrifty Car Rental, and after that, it was Dent Wizard. He went on to go into real estate. He's been in real estate for almost 20 years. So of course he doesn't have that ability to have that pension and stuff. Like, he has to hustle and work, and it's all sales. You know, my mom, she still is in corporate America and everything, but based on what her 401k numbers are, she can't retire anytime soon. Because if she does, that money gonna run out fast. And it's because she lost so much of her money when the market crashed in 2008. So, you know, when people try to give me the advice of these old school people, and that another thing I wanted to talk about, the whole 10 to 12% of returns, and that's what the average is. And let me tell you something, just because it's been going on for a specific period of time doesn't mean it's going to continue to go on. You just heard what I talked to you guys about. So I understand that the vast majority of people that are in this space follow Dave Ramsey and everything that he says to do. And I'm not knocking the guy. And if any of y'all come into my comment section like y'all did on those Dave Ramsey videos, I promise you I'll block you, because I have people being very ignorant. Well, he's a millionaire. Are you? Well, guess what? I don't follow the damn man, you do. So if you're the person that follows him, you should be a millionaire before me, because you're following his advice, right? Common sense. But anyway, everything that he says, he's been teaching the same thing for so long. So if just like in this article, it's telling you that the ways of the world when it comes to money and finances are not going to be the same, why do you think that you can follow advice from so many years ago when he first started and it's still going to help you the same way that it helped people back then? You're crazy. The $1,000 savings, the hey, put all, you know, invest so much like that. I think he says 15% or something like that into the market. Let me tell y'all, if you have the vast majority of your savings and your retirement money and your investment money in a place where you have to be a certain age to withdraw from it, you're crazy. What if you don't live to be 65? I know we all want to live long, but what if you don't live to be 65? Now you've continued to save that money in a place where you can't even touch it without a penalty on your own money that you saved. I don't want my money anywhere where I have to be a certain age to withdraw from it without penalty, or I don't want my money in any place where I can't control it. That's why I day trade. Have I lost potential money by not having my money in a 403b for the last like 3 years, 3, 4, 5 years? Sure. But the power of multiplying my own money when I get to that point, priceless. And in actuality, most of the money that I took out back then, I put into reinvesting in my business. And trust me, I've made way more money in network marketing and in business than my money would have made for me if I had my money in a 403b. My business that I was making $8,000 a month in was $100 a month for me to maintain that income. If that ain't a return, I don't know what is. Now, of course, that came with work and things that I had to do, but still. So I just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention. Like I said, you guys can go ahead and read the whole article because I only highlighted a certain number of things. But let me tell y'all, don't sleep on stuff like this. This information is gold. And this is supposed to be a wake-up call for you. And let me tell you, if you continue to do what you're doing, that's fine. It's your life. But don't sit here at 40, 50, 60 years old sitting here complaining. I have people who are like, oh my God, I wish I could do what you do. You couldn't because you want to be traditional, and there's no problem with that. There are some, like my mother, she'll always be traditional. She does not like taking risks, honey. That's just her. And that's okay. But later on in life, when you see certain people who were taking risks be able to live a life that you want to live, you can't complain because you followed what corporate America told you to do. You followed what our school systems told you to do. Me? No, I do the opposite. So, yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this talk. I know it was kind of all over the place and I was rambling in certain places, but I've been wanting to make this video for a while, and just the statistics in that article, man, they are actually pretty scary. But I'm glad that we live in an information age where you can read about different things like that. And I had somebody like, well, where are we supposed to invest our money if we don't? Listen, Google, research. I have people who ask me this who went to the same school that I did. I didn't learn in school just like you didn't learn in school. Research. Do it. Your future depends on it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the talk and enjoyed the video. Please thumbs up this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions, leave them down below. But other than that, I will see you guys